Welcome to DentonRadio.com, powered in part by Classic of Denton. Hey everybody, thank you very much for tuning in on DentonRadio.com. We are sitting down with the geniuses themselves behind the very famous Denton event, Cirque du Horror, coming up during the Denton Day of the Dead Festival. Before we get rocking and rolling into the fest, everybody introduce yourselves.
My name is Tara Lynn Hunter.
Bring your microphone up just a little bit. Sorry about that.
That's all right. My name is Tara Lynn Hunter.
Perfect.
And my name is David Pearson. I am the creator of Cirque du Horror.
Very good. So, Cirque du Horror, for anybody who hasn't heard of it, if you guys could give us a little rundown on what to expect and what this is.
Yeah. So it was started because I always felt like there was some sort of void between a Halloween show that was, say, more of a church harvest fest, and then something that was maybe meant for older kids with like the scary haunted houses that you'll go to and attend. I kind of felt like maybe there was a lack of the family element that was there, and so I wanted to create a show that sort of had the best of everything. It had a little bit of frights and haunts and scares, but it also had plenty of laughs, and also wasn't too scary for people to bring, all of the entire family to and enjoy.
Very, very cool. So Cirque du Horror is a very fun family play that has just crazy taken off over the years and has become a real Denton staple. And Denton always has such cool holiday events like holiday lighting and things like that we really get to kind of put a Denton stamp on that's pretty darn cool if you ask me. So if somebody were to come to Cirque du Horror and wants to bring the family out and show something to the kids and all that good stuff, what should they expect they're going to find at Cirque du Horror?
Well, maybe I'll start this, and if you want to add anything, that's fine. I think what everybody should expect to see is something that makes you think of another place at another time, something that seems like it's an old traveling vaudeville, circus that maybe is, who knows, 1700s or earlier, that has all sorts of different elements of song and dance. Very much a cabaret show. There's laughter, there's jokes, there's comedy, and then there's some seriousness that are all splashed in there.
Cool.
Yeah, and luckily Denton has such a wide variety of talent that it's been really wonderful to involve folks from many different backgrounds. So we've got dancers, we have shadow puppet work, we have old-fashioned puppet work, we have singing, we have acting, we have comedy. So it's a really well-rounded show, and I love the dimly lit vaudevillian feel of it. And one really cool thing is that a lot of the props and the sets are all homemade, and so it just gives it this very old school, like local feel. It's really cool. Yeah.
Really, really cool, guys. So what inspired, I mean, we talked about wanting to create something for the family or anything like that, but was there any specific instances that just made you go, oh, we got to do something like this?
Well, okay, so it's interesting. The background is I, as an artist, was writing music for different clients and always writing for other people and never for myself. So one of the things that I felt was years ago that I was getting stuck in some sort of rut, and an incredibly talented uncle of mine sent me about 50 some odd topics, all sorts of different subjects, planets and angels and demons and all sorts of things, that what could inspire me to write music for. And one of the things that he sent were a couple of lines of poetry, this macabre little cool rhyme, and that ignited some sort of spark of creativity within me. And so from that moment I decided, well, what if I set music to these little poems, and then I maybe even had my uncle write and develop more of these little stories, which he did. So he probably developed about 5 or 6 different ideas, and I set all that stuff to music, and then from there kind of jumped off and wrote my own songs and my own poems, and then Cirque has now evolved into what it is today. But but that was what started everything right there.
It's so cool, and it's such a great story. You know, we have, but actually before I say this, I want to make sure we do a couple of shout outs. Denton Haunts said, love these lunatics. So so you've got some love from Denton Haunts. Hayden Tenpenny, who's been wanting a shout out on anything Denton Radio for a very long time, is tuning in as well. Hello, Hayden. Thank you very much for being here. All right, so a lot of people come. We had a guy come to me and a couple of my buddies wanting to get his band out there, and he said something along the lines of there is an Illuminati in Denton that won't let me perform. And I went, what? and basically, and very lightheartedly, he was trying to say, how do I get my stuff out there?
Sure.
You know, Denton's got all this art and all this creativity and all these kind of things out there. And I ended up telling him about you, and I said, you know, David had this amazingly cool performance and thing that he wanted to create. And how did he get it out there? He built a freaking festival around it, and you know, and did something that was so Denton in such a Denton way. And I just think it's such a really cool Denton story to say you took something that was really unique and then delivered it in a really unique way as well. Now, we're going to be talking tomorrow more about the festival, so I don't want to camp out too long there.
Sure.
But if somebody tunes in now and doesn't tune in tomorrow, I want to briefly go through the Day of the Dead Festival just so everybody can know what's going to be going on alongside Cirque du Horror.
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, when back in 2011, when the festival sort of it came to be, it was more of an idea back then to have sort of a Shakespeare in the Park element of having Cirque du Horror out as musical theater and for everybody, and maybe felt more like a block party back then, you know. Well, after that first year, it took off in such a way. I mean, it's grown exponentially every single year.
Yeah.
The addition of the coffin races, and that's a huge shout out to my buddy Joey Hawkins, who helped create and give birth to this beautiful idea of taking part soapbox derby, part Manitou Springs coffin races, and combine them to where they race down the hill at Hickory. So that obviously is a huge element of the festival, and we're so happy that that's around. But along with that, we have bands, we have vendors, we have pumpkin patch area that has lots of funds and arts and crafts and games for the kiddos. We've got a Lantern Twilight Parade at 7 p.m.
Which is really cool.
Very cool. And all this whole festival is free. It's open to the public. There's no tickets necessary. Anyone can be in the parade if they want to. We encourage everybody to dress up just to celebrate all sort of different elements of the fall.
Very, very cool. It's such a fun idea, and it's such a good time. And for all of those out there that are entered in the coffin race, discover Denton, DentonRadio.com, Denton CVB, all of us. We have a coffin in the race, and we're coming for you. Get really acquainted with the back of our coffin, because it's all you're going to see. Anyways, moving forward, back to Cirque du Horror, we have got this really interesting piece behind us that I'm sure those watching via video, if you're listening at DentonRadio.com on the app or on the website, make sure you tune into the video. If you're on the website, you can also tune in on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. But those that are already there see this incredible piece behind us and are wondering what in the world it is. So I was wondering if we could get a little bit of a demonstration.
Sure.
That
Right.
may give us a little taste
Yes.
of Cirque du Horror to come.
So this is called a cranky, and an awesome carpenter in town, Daniel Vaughn, built. Cool artist Ashley Young did the shadow work for this. So a cranky is basically a scroll of paper that you do these intricate cutouts on, and then you backlight it, and you can scroll a story across. So as the orchestra is playing and a singer is telling a story, we will have this story coming across. So this is for a number called Haunted Carousel, and as you can see, you can just kind of roll the story this way.
So
a
cool.
cranky turner, and I don't want to give too much away. So I'm gonna like, kind of leave it on this scene. But as you can see, there's a haunted carousel inside a snow globe, and you don't want to stare at it too long, or you might get your soul sucked in forever. So
Awesome.
so as you can see, we kind of take some scary themes, but we do it in this really beautiful storytelling type way, and I just love this kind of artwork. So we can scroll on. I'll give you a little peek of a bit more.
David, you want to sing as this goes by?
Oh man, it's just so early in the day. I might have to pass.
So there's a little bit more.
Oh, so cool.
So and all of this is like cut out by hand, so you can imagine how many X-Acto blades we've been through to
Yeah.
get this out there.
No kidding.
She still has all her fingers
Yep.
intact. You know,
Well,
if I
it's so cool.
if I can speak to this real quick.
Yeah.
What's awesome, and I should let everybody know, you know, most of this I haven't seen at all, and that's part of the beauty of this whole show. The very first year, because of my friendship with Dan Mojica and Dan's Bar and Dan Silverleaf, he was able to let me, basically to give my idea a spot to perform. And it was just one night. We had no idea if anybody was going to show up. And we had this beautiful collaboration of artists. I can mention Melanie, Little Gomez, and Des Smith came on eventually. We have Robert Hamilton that was there from the get-go, Danny Hazlett. We had all of these, Sue Little, of course. We had these artists that came in and brought my music to life visually. And I had no idea what they were going to come up with. I told them the direction of everything, and then they just made it. They made it what it is now. And so now we've got Tara Lynn, we have Ashley, we've got people coming on this year for the first time that I couldn't be. I mean, look at this. This is amazing. And I mean, there's so much more to this. It's not. This isn't the only thing that they've worked on. Obviously, they've worked on the entire play, and it's, you know, about them drawing inspiration from the songs and sort of running with it and doing. And I should mention too, dance. Karen McIntyre with Green Space. She does the same thing. I talk to her and I visit with her and say, here are the songs. Here's what I'm thinking. Now, go with it. You can choreograph whatever you want, you know. And it's just it's magical. It's worked out, and it continues to work. So.
Well, and that's what I think is so cool about it. You and I have had the chance to talk about Cirque du Horror a few times over the years, and you know, what I think is so cool is that it continues to change and evolve and develop over time, so that somebody can go and see it every year and get something new. And you've really pulled a great team of artists and Denton Knights around you and just said, okay, here's kind of what we got. Now take it and do something different with it. It's just so cool. Such a cool thing to see.
Thanks, Jake.
So we've also got some friends here on the table that I wanted to get to talk about just a little bit, if we could go through that as well.
Yeah, so we have these little shadow puppets, and they oftentimes will use these little creatures on a projector, so they'll look a lot larger and scarier. As you can see, he looks kind of harmless right now, and these are all hand cut out as well. But as he's a shadow that's getting smaller to larger, they look really creepy. And so we're able to do a lot of really cool special effects with really tiny little creatures.
Cool.
So I love that. And these are some of our kind of laughing skeleton friends. And as shadows, they're just really neat. They almost look like someone just told a joke. So they're creepy, but a little funny too. And that's what I love about this show, is that anytime something gets a little too scary, a joke happens, or the music lightens up a little bit. So these are really fun. Obviously, time-consuming to make all of these things, but so valuable to me that we're not just like buying stuff at a store. You know, we're coming up with the ideas, sketching them out, and David has all these awesome songs that just feed the visuals. So, and I love the concept of shadows, especially in the fall. You know, shadows are something you notice when you're a child. You look down and there's this thing that's permanently attached to you, and you can't get it off, and it's going to be with you for the rest of your life. And it weaves itself throughout children's literature, like in Peter Pan, where he's trying to stick his shadow back on with soap, and you know. And so I love that idea of it's kind of this darkness that's always following you a little bit, and how you interact with that. And to me, that's a lot of what Hallows Eve and Halloween and fall is about, is kind of embracing that darkness for a time period and learning to live with it with a bit of humor.
Yeah.
And so I love shadow work for that reason.
So cool. No, seriously, it's really, really cool. Well, and that's what I don't know if we can hammer home enough is the family-friendly nature of this. That yes, you're going to get some Halloweeny elements and some scary elements and some things like this, but this is something that a young child could go see, and there's going to be some funny moments and some things that they're really going to be able to get into. This is something everybody, from the tall to the small, can really enjoy and take in.
And there will be candy thrown to the audience.
Well, now everybody's sold.
That's
That's
right.
perfect.
That's exactly right.
Perfect. Well, awesome, guys. This is again, I can't tout Cirque du Horror enough. It's a really, really special part of Denton that has started as a seed that has created this insanely cool festival and all this really cool interaction that goes on downtown. Again, we are going to be talking, again, you and I, tomorrow as with some other, well, you're going to be here as well, too, right? Are you or not?
Just you? Bell Ann Hyde with the Hispanic Chamber will be here. Yes.
We'll edit that out. But we will have you back tomorrow to talk a little bit more about Cirque du Horror and what's going on with the festival as a whole. But we wanted to make sure we gave plenty of love to Cirque du Horror today so that we can send as many folks as possible. All right, if somebody wants to find more information, where can they go?
So direct them to the website. So that's just www.cirqueduhorror.com.
Okay.
And all of there's promos there, there's ways, songs there they can listen to, and of course all ticket information is found on that website.
Perfect. Very, very cool, guys. Anything else we want to make sure we cover before we wrap up?
Just remind everybody you've got 3 chances to see it. So you've got Saturday at 4:30 and 9:15 and Sunday at 5 p.m.
Fantastic. Well, everybody, make sure you go get your tickets for Cirque du Horror. It is coming up this weekend. 2 showings on Saturday, 1 showing on Sunday. Yes?
That's right.
All right, cool. We just said it. I wanted to make sure I didn't get it wrong. And we will see you guys at Cirque du Horror. Thank you very, very much for tuning in. Anything else we want to say before we wrap up, guys?
Tara, would you like the last word?
Good,
Good? Okay.
That was a good. Let them know when the shows are.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's right, for sure.
Check out Cirque du Horror, everybody. We're going to jump back into the music at DentonRadio.com. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Well, thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to check out DentonRadio.com for new Denton artists and where they're playing next. While you're surfing the internet, make sure you check out our friends Classic of Denton at ClassicofDenton.com.